Hi there, I'm Jeff Stage, Senior Editor at the American Philatelic Society, and I want to talk to you about the upcoming April edition. It's a special edition that we have every year. It's our recognition edition, in which we thank and recognize all of the important people who help the society keep going. And these are people who've donated money, materials, services, time, talent, and leadership. And we love them dearly, and we want to thank them, and we do so every April in this edition. So the April edition has some very exciting philatelic stories as well as the recognition material. And one of our main stories is the cover story. It's about a topical of collecting natural disasters. Not necessarily a fun topic, of course. We all hate to see natural disasters. However, Ray Burby, our writer, has compiled a wonderful collection of stamps and covers involving everything from terrible floods and hurricanes to earthquakes. It's a very interesting topic because countries such as the United States generally do not put tragedies of such on stamps. So if you're interested in such a thing, and it includes rescue and prevention stamps as well. If you're interested in such a thing, you need to go searching, and Ray Burby tells us how to create such a collection. Another story in the April edition is a book review that's very interesting. Tim Huxley reviews a book that's about a pair of French artists who were also stamp collectors and stamp designers from the mid to late 1800s. And there's an interesting new book out about that. And Tim takes us through the book and tells us about these brothers that we might not have known about. And actually, one of the brothers was very successful, and several of his artworks now appear on French stamps. What article was the most interesting to work on? Well, of course, they're all interesting, and they all have their own challenges, they all have their own opportunities, and they're all good. The story about the Maine shipbuilding stamp from Charles Posner is filled with a lot of great information. It's really interesting about how this stamp that really doesn't show shipbuilding properly in Maine is dedicated to the Maine shipbuilders, who of course were very important, especially all through the early part of the 20th century and into World War II. So it's a very interesting story. The upcoming May edition of the American Philatelist is a theme edition about ephemera in connection with philately. And we have some really neat stories here. One looks at little 3D souvenirs that were sent through the mail. Another focuses on one of the 7 areas of the 1940 famous Americans stamps from the United States. Those are very popular stamps, and they featured 5 individuals in 7 different categories: authors, poets, scientists, etc. And one story looks at one of those sets. We have another story about the last stamp that Franklin Roosevelt helped design, and some ephemera attached to collecting that stamp. And we have one more story that is not necessarily too much about ephemera. There's a little bit in it, but there's a story about the 20th anniversary of airmail in the United States. And there was a big celebration, a week-long campaign for people to send airmail letters across the country. Millions of letters were sent. Thousands of communities created special covers for that event, and we have a story about that. And it's again, it's very interesting. A lot of very colorful covers in that story, and it's an interesting story to tell.